So you want to survive the apocalypse? Good luck with that. But if it's any consolation, you're not alone. We've got your back with everything you need to know to survive a nuclear holocaust. It's gone nah. Take more than just a can of beans and a gas mask to survive the blast radius and fallout from a nuclear attack. So we've put together this list of essential tips, tricks, and tactics for surviving the apocalypse, so you don't have to search for them all yourself after the bombs drop. Welcome to the channel. The first thing you need to do in order to survive a nuclear apocalypse is find cover. As soon as you see or hear an incoming nuclear missile or warhead, get inside right away and stay there. If you're outside when the bomb drops, you'll be met with intense heat, blinding lights, deafening noises, and a lethal blast wave, all of which will kill you, or at the very least, knock you unconscious. Long enough to be killed by one of the other threats. If you're inside a sturdy building or shelter, though, you may stand a chance. The blast wave won't be as strong, the heat and light will be much less intense, and you won't be exposed to dangerous levels of radiation. The next thing you should do during a nuclear attack is take cover under a sturdy piece of furniture. Desks, tables, bed frames, and mattresses are great for this. Taking cover under something solid will protect you from debris and falling glass that could seriously injure or kill you. This also gives you something to hide behind once you exit your shelter after the explosion. If you're taking cover in a vehicle, then duck down and cover your head and wait for the worst of it to pass. If you're in an elevator, stay calm and don't try to jump out, because the sudden pressure change will likely cause fatal injuries. You might think running away from the blast is a good idea. It's actually one of the worst things you can do during a nuclear attack. The blast wave will knock you off your feet and hurl you through the air like a rag doll. If you're caught outside with nowhere to go, the best tactic is to take cover behind a sturdy object and protect your head. Even better, lie flat on the ground. Curl up into a ball and try to protect your head and neck with your arms. Also, try to avoid areas that could be affected by a firestorm. Areas with lots of combustible materials, such as wooden buildings. Dry grass and open containers of fuel are the most susceptible to a firestorm. Firestorms can reach temperatures of 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt metal, and they can rage for days. Survivors who take shelter in buildings instead of out in the open can still perish in a firestorm. Would you want to avoid those altogether? Even if you manage to survive the initial explosion and fallout, it's imperative that you avoid becoming a statistic from one of the lesser threats, such as looters or hostile survivors. To prevent this, you need to avoid densely populated areas until the dust settles and you can determine the severity of the damage. If possible, try to reach a safe haven where you can lay low and wait out the nuclear winter. If you live in a rural area, you may have a better chance of survival than those living in urban areas. For instance, some people in Nagasaki survived the bombing by hiding in the hills outside the city. Likewise, people living in the suburbs or small towns will have an easier time finding food and water than those in major cities. If you must travel through dangerous areas, plan your route in advance and try to stick to well-traveled roads and paths. These will have been used by others before you and may offer a degree of safety in numbers. Just beware of ambush predators. Few cannibals or marauders may lurk around every corner. These people will have given up hope of a better future and will prey on unsuspecting survivors. The only way to defend yourself from these types of threats is to be prepared. Having weapons, even non-lethal ones, can help keep you safe. Just remember, some weapons may attract unwanted attention. If you're forced to use a gun, make sure you have plenty of ammo and know how to use it. Guns will be extremely valuable after the nuclear blast, so if you can get your hands on some, you're in business. Firearms aren't the only weapons you should seek out. Bows, arrows, and crossbows are quieter and have reusable ammunition. After the shotgun runs out of ammo, bows will be the primary source of food acquisition and self-defense. Just be careful when handling bows and arrows, as they can easily penetrate through walls and windows. You don't want to accidentally shoot another survivor in their shelter. Molotov cocktails are useful for crowd control and deterring potential intruders. They're easy to make, cheap, and can be used to burn down buildings without risking your life. You may even want to carry some old-fashioned weapons like nunchucks and nunchaku. In close quarters combat, these can be very effective. And because they're simple to conceal, you can use them on public transportation or within close proximity of others without drawing attention to yourself. Baseball bats are another excellent choice because they're relatively quiet, causing less noise pollution than guns or other loud weapons. Just remember that it's not the size that matters, but how you use it. Once the shock of the explosion wears off, it's time to start thinking about what happens next. Even if you survive the initial blast and fallout, you'll still face many challenges. The temperature will rise dramatically, especially in the summer. Temperatures can soar to 100 degrees or higher. To cope with this, wear lightweight, light-colored clothing made from natural fibers like cotton or linen. These will reflect sunlight and help keep you cool. Staying hydrated is perhaps the most important thing you can do after a nuclear blast. Without water, you can only survive a few days. Fortunately, it's easy to purify water using simple methods. Boiling water kills most bacteria and viruses. If you have a water filter, great. But if not, you can build a DIY charcoal filter using items you find around your home. These won't remove biological contaminants like viruses, so you'll need to boil the water afterwards. Still, they're better than nothing. Rainwater is another excellent source of H2O, so invest in a rainwater harvesting system if you can. Food and water aren't the only things you'll need to worry about. Radiation is another serious threat. Radiation can contaminate food, water, and surfaces, putting you at risk of developing cancer and other health problems. To protect yourself, wear protective clothing such as gloves, goggles, and a respirator mask. You should also avoid areas that have been contaminated by nuclear fallout. You must travel through these areas, limit your exposure by staying on main roads and keeping your trip short. Also, radioactive particles can stick to your clothes and hair, so wash your clothes immediately after coming indoors. It's no secret that the world has changed after a nuclear blast. No matter how resourceful you are, you won't be able to sustain yourself forever if you don't change your mindset and skills. You'll need to learn how to grow your own food, hunt and fish, build a shelter, and provide for your family. If you have children, they'll look to you for guidance and protection, so it's imperative that you maintain a positive attitude. Otherwise, they'll lose hope and give up. Even if the future looks bleak, never lose hope. There may be people out there looking for survivors to join their community. If you have valuable skills, people may even come looking for you. Perhaps the most important thing to remember after a nuclear blast is to stay calm. Panic and despair can lead to irrational behavior, which can put you in danger. Take deep breaths and try to focus on the task at hand. Try to assess the situation and make a plan. This will help you feel more in control and less anxious. While it's tempting to stay in your shelter for weeks or months, eventually you'll need to venture outside. The longer you stay holed up inside, the more supplies you'll deplete. Eventually you'll run out of food, water, and other essentials. Sooner or later you'll have to venture out into the radioactive wasteland to find more supplies. The longer you wait, the more difficult it will be, because other survivors will have had the same idea. If you can hold out for a while, you may end up with more stuff than you can use. So remember, there's a delicate balance between staying safe and venturing out to scavenge for supplies. Hopefully, by following these tips, you'll be able to survive the nuclear blast and fallout and live to fight another day. Now watch. What really happens after a nuclear war? Or check out World War Z, best book about zombies ever.